This is my new 700 horsepower Neon that I'm rebuilding to give back to the previous owner. He owned it for only 3 days before it burned down. Today I'm going to be bringing it inside my shop.
Now this could either go really well or really bad.
Taking out the engine and transmission and tearing both of them apart to see what survived.
Oh no!
Can you please support this journey by literally just subscribing? First off, we need this car inside the shop to be able to do anything. I jacked it up from the front to get new wheels on because the drag slicks were completely melted. I carefully maneuvered it into my shop by myself with my truck.
My vlog.
After a long morning, this Neon's finally in here. Only thing I didn't think about is I kind of trapped my truck. I got it out, I'm so happy. With only one little casualty, my really expensive sunglasses. I put the car in the air and began stripping it as much as possible to get the engine and transmission out. These are literally junk. This part would have been a whole lot easier if Ben Pack would have responded to my emails. Anyways, let's check out this transmission.
First thing I'm going to start with is the LSD. Everything looks good so far. Let's move into the shifter assembly and the gear set.
This one's got a lot of...
Oh no. Oh no. No, that's a $2,000 gear, Jessica.
Why is Mike yelling at me?
I got the engine on a stand and cleaned it up as much as I could. Next challenge is to eliminate every bolt I see. Pretty much all of this is garbage. After that, I torched the crank pulley to get it off nice and easily. The Mopar crank puller literally wouldn't fit. This is useless. Third tool's the charm. Let's play everybody's favorite game. How much glitter is in my oil? Actually, none. Looks really good. Whoa. Guys, this thing definitely has a spun bearing. This is little chunks of copper. I guarantee there's a spun bearing somewhere in here. There's even some... Oh yeah, that's a completely spun bearing. You can see it coming out of the side.
Oh, yeah.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Another thing this engine doesn't have are crank straps. There are supposed to be big metal blocks on top of these cranks every time you're pushing over, like, say 500 horsepower, or else your crank could explode. Before we take the rods out and inspect the crank for damage, let's check out this fully built head. All of these threaded holes are completely stretched and unfixable, and look at how much of the valve cover melted from the fire. This head was only built 600 miles ago. The cams, springs, valves, and even the cam gears were upgraded. For only 600 miles, this actually looks horrible. I bet the head was already pretty trashed due to the spun bearing sending material everywhere. There was probably a horrible ticking noise, so they decided to build the head to see if that would fix it. These journals look horrible. I don't know if I can really use anything in here besides maybe the springs. Let's see how bad the body is. It's bad. I made a whole YouTube short about it. Nothing is savable on the inside. Seats, headliner, dashboard, gauges, everything is destroyed. Back seats, carpets. The whole trunk is destroyed. Oops. The entire trunk liner is destroyed. Rust. Bondo. This door has a bunch of dents on it. And the pinch welds are low-key destroyed. There's physically nothing savable besides a few body panels and rear suspension. It doesn't take a genius to call this one a total loss. Now let's check out that spun bearing. This block spins over really well. I first remove all the rods and pistons out of the engine. This is one of the good ones. Just as bad. Same story. Last one. Nothing. There is no bearing on this. It's all right here. Followed by the crank ladder that holds all the crank bearings in place. One thing that's really cool about SRT4 motors is that this bed plate doesn't need any RTV or any gasket between this surface right here and the actual block. It's machined to be like zero tolerance, so no oil can leak out of it. There's no RTV to clean up, there's no gasket or anything. The crank has a bunch of hot spots and definitely a lot of grooving. You can see it a lot more on the bed plate, which actually holds the bearings, especially especially this one. This is absolutely toast, especially with this spun bearing. And now for the rods. They definitely have some skirt wear, but it's just surface level and you can't actually feel it or anything like that. And they all have pretty much the same amount of wear. The rod bearings don't look so great either. Lots of grooving. And this one's just gone. I don't know if I can still use this rod. It has a lot of heat in it. I'm definitely going to take it to a machine shop and see what they say. See if they can measure it out. See if it's like warped or anything. Thank you guys so much for watching.